Alrighty then, welcome back to The Art, everybody. My name is Darryl Scotti, and today I'm joined with co-host, producer, and creative director Alex Chacon, and our special guest, Curtis Grippe. This is part of a three-part interview we've done with Curtis, and if you haven't seen episode or segment 1 or 2, you got to go back and check it out. Some good stuff. So in today's segment, we're going to be listening to a song that Curtis recorded, and it's with Velvet Elvis, right?
Velvet
and
Elvis
some
Band.
Collaborators from Jim Blossoms and some other people, and a song called Actress Bait, right?
Yes.
And so we're going to take a listen to that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about it. Let's dig into it.
You were more than great. Gonna be the next big thing. Words could never say. Gonna steal the show and what you bring to a fate. No sincerity that set you free. Ten sort of small talk, perfect actress fate.
That was a killer song. Man.
Thank you.
And the way you did that in terms of your process, I can't wait for you to share with our viewers how that happened. It's so organic and it's so big sounding. Tell us a little bit about it and how did it happen?
I liked that particular song because I was talking earlier about how I work with, other artists. This was a situation where these are guys that are old pros. If you have Philip Rhodes from the Gin Blossoms, Josh Kennedy from the Black Moods, Mark Norman on vocals and songwriter, and they're all just old pros. And so they came in one afternoon and said, "Hey, we need to track a song real quick." And Mark at the time had a little gig on the side at a radio station, and so we just working with those guys. There's almost no production necessary. We were up and recording within minutes. We were probably done in a couple hours tracking. It was that fast. And then Mark, of course, wanted a mix of it by the next morning. So there's no editing. There's no auto-tuning. There's nothing. It's just the band. It's just how it went down exactly. And so the mix I did pretty quickly. And it was on the radio the next morning.
Wow.
And I thought that was kind of a neat
literally
example.
What you got is what we heard.
Yeah. And, I've heard it many times since and thought, that's pretty good for, I don't think I'd change anything.
I think the biggest word that you said was organic. Definitely just super live. And
It did. It sounded like you were at a show.
yeah.
Right.
And then did they all track in the same room or at the same time?
No, Josh did like a rhythm track, and then Philip did the drums, and I believe it was Ryan Pryor did the bass, and he was the initial Black Moods bass player. Yeah. And then Josh did a lot of guitar work, overdubbing after that, and then they did vocals and harmonies, and it was they're such pros. It took them no time really, a few hours.
It's got a total rock live, in a beautiful room with a big sound system vibe to it.
Well, thanks.
And it moves. It moves well. And it's a well-written song too, by the way.
Thanks.
It's one of those songs. I've always said that a good song kind of sounds like it plays itself, and everything just falls into, a well-crafted song. But
As far as mixing and mastering, so you do everything in-house, and is there like something special that, you could share with us as far as the process for this?
That one was mastered with a plugin, which I don't normally do, and I love to send my stuff out to get mastered. I like having another set of ears.
Anybody particular that you use locally, or?
I like Sunroom Audio. He's in New York.
Okay.
He's Dan Coutant is his name, and he's just a real guy who listens to the song from beginning to end. I've had him call me a couple times. The bass in the second chorus is a little heavy. You scale that back a little bit, I can do a better job. And so he's one of those kind of guys who I know he listens all the way through, and rather than just putting it on, mastering is a weird thing now.
He gives you a little critique.
Sure,
Hey, can
and
you so my job's a little easier. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's that's great advice, because it's not for any other reason than it'll sound better, and that's all I want. So I love getting an extra set of ears on it, and the plug-in mastering plugins are, I don't know. Maybe they'll be better in time. It's kind of a newer thing, and I see these ads. Master your song for $8. And it's like, wow, no thanks. Why would you do that? Spend that much time and then
After all that time and effort.
You can like just upload it into one of the online platforms, right? Is that what you're talking about?
And they make it louder. They make it louder. If you look at the waveform, it looks like a straight line. There's no dynamics. You kind of lose all.
There's definitely a science to it. Have you ever met Michael Bolenbach, another local Fullwell Studios?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know that I've met him personally. I think he may have mastered a couple of things I've done.
Yeah, and he's got a whole he's a scientist.
Yeah, and it is something. A mastering engineer to me is different than a mixing engineer. Very, very different. And so I would never call myself a mastering engineer, and that is not my forte. And I can do it if I have to. I prefer not to. I prefer to outsource it. There are guys who, don't get a plumber to fix your car.
I think it's it's the thing that you said earlier, where it's like an extra pair of ears, but like it's that collaboration between mix and master, and like putting the extra effort to have that collaboration between mix and master. I think it really does make a difference, and that's cool to get feedback. And then, how long have you been working with that mastering engineer?
Maybe 15 years.
Right. And so you have that relationship now too, where it's like. Yeah,
I met him through Jamie Wilford, who works here, and he recommended him, and I've used him ever since. He's just, and then I have artists who have their own place. Like Tim McDonald goes through another guy in New York. I forgot his name. Sorry, it's
okay.
Big name. And he, there's a lot of really good mastering engineers. So
when you said mastering plugin, did you mean Ozone?
Yes. Yeah. And it's pretty. I don't want to poo-poo Ozone because it's pretty good for what it is. It's
if you're in a hurry, that's what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just put it in Ozone. It's fine.
Or if it's just going to Facebook or something, whatever.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But yeah, if you're going to put something out and be proud of it, send it to a real.
Yeah. And I was making a lot of content for myself, and I'd be recording real quickly. I'd like have a really rough mix, but I don't want to spend all that time for somebody that's going to see a 30-second or minute-long clip or whatever. Yeah. So throw it into Ozone real quick. It gives me out what I need, put it onto the video,
that's
and
a good
then
idea.
you're done. So it's just a quick tool. It's another tool, right?
Right.
It's another tool.
And sometimes in the mixing process, if you want to emulate mastering just while you're mixing, you can put it on your master bus, and I've done that before just to have an idea of what volume level I'm working with.
Top down, right?
Yeah.
Mixing, is that what that's called?
Something like that. Yeah. I'd rather have a real mastering setup but I don't. So I've done that a few times.
I had one more studio question for you. When was the last time you used tape?
It's been a couple years. There was a band from Tucson that came up here, and we did the whole session on tape, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. That's sometimes I mix. So sometimes I'll run Pro Tools out, all channels out onto my console, and I'll mix, to where it's an event. It's an actual performance, And tape was like that. It was fun. It was really fun. I didn't get to mix it, so I just tracked it for them, and then they took it to Tucson and mixed it. But it's been a while. It's expensive. It's $400 for 12 minutes. So it's not cheap. And another thing is, if you're going to go to tape, you got to be ready. The band's got to be prepared to really, you can't do 50 passes. You're gonna.
It's been a while, so I wanna. It's almost worth it just to do it for fun, to hear the sonic value. I want to.
The coolest thing about tape, especially with drums,
You call the record 2-inch tape.
Yeah.
is you can bury that. It doesn't. There's no in digital. If you go into the red, you're doing nasty things audio wise. Whereas tape is just
a tape compression.
You want to drive it.
Yeah, that's you can do things with a kick drum on tape that you could never emulate. You could never create any other way than slamming the meter on a tape. It's just really cool. It's its own.
And how about upkeep on your tape machine?
Man, we talk about these computers that they're basically Bic lighters. They're disposable computers. Those tape machines were made to run every day, all day long for decades, and they do. It's an amazing piece of machinery.
Get to Bakersfield and back.
Yeah, those things are made to last, and they do. They last forever. And that particular one is you can buy all the parts, all the stuff from like Radio Shack online. You can get all those parts. They're not obsolete. You can still fix that thing. So
That's cool.
Well, that was Actress Bait, and so you guys check that out. It's on. It's not on Spotify, SoundCloud, right?
It's
And,
SoundCloud. We'll put links.
Yeah,
for the
we'll have
other-
links on
yeah.
it, and man, Curtis, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, seriously.
Our pleasure.
Thank you
our
for
pleasure.
joining us, man.
We hope
Thank
that you enjoyed that, and this is another wrap on this episode with Curtis Grippe, and thank you for being with us today here at Big Yard Nation. This is a beautiful live room, and if you're ever in Phoenix and you need a place to record, you want to sit down with somebody that knows what he's doing, Curtis Grippe, STEM Recording Studios. We'll have it online. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to us, help us out, and let us know. We're listening. So pass it on to your friends and your collaborators. It has been a wonderful day today. We love this interview. Thank you so much. Come back and join us when you're out there getting to wherever it is you're getting to. We hope that all your dreams and hopes come true. God bless from the yard. We'll see you soon.